Welcome. Scott here. I will be covering on the upcoming Lost Chapter event, Shelke the Transparent. The featured LD units for the event are Prishe from Final Fantasy XI, Shelke from Final Fantasy VII Dirge of Cerberus, Lulu from Final Fantasy X and Fujin from Final Fantasy VIII. Shelke and Lulu will be getting their reworks and C90 awakenings. Lulu's LD will make its debut. We will be fighting the Dragonfly, which has 25 million HP. Throughout the course of the fight, it can summon a sweeper which has 2 million HP. The sweeper is immune to launches. The Dragonfly is immune to any debuffs that contains confusion. The turn requirement for the fight is 50 and the HP requirements is 5000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in global. Firstly, let's go through the LUFENIA Plus Orb Conditions. The LUFENIA Countdown ability Carpet Bomb ++ is fatal. Every party action and orb target action will downtick the orb by 1. The LUFENIA orb will be triggered at the start of the fight at the counter of 12. To uptick the orb, you need to deal fire damage to the boss. You can enchant non-fire elemental units with party enchant, Lulu or Ignis. Lulu is the premium enchanter here as her mega fire enchant will bypass the non-fire element units to deal fire damage. For example, Lulu can enchant Garnet's thunder-based Peridot Thunder Flash to deal fire damage. Both Ignis and Lulu can be used as a call ability as well. Alternative, you can bring fire elemental units like Jet, Vivi, Prishe, Papa Limo, Xanda or Vaughn. Do note that the boss gain 100% evasion whenever it is shrouded with the pink aura. You need to remove the aura before you can start to resume dealing fire damage to the boss. Now let's proceed with some party setup recommendations. Recommended calls abilities. To ensure that you are able to constantly break them, it is important to inflict defense down debuffs. Example of calls abilities that inflict defense down calls are Ferris, Titus, Jack, and Vanille. The boss has a big HP pool. Using HP damage up debuff calls like Karasame, Seymour, Lily Set, Fran, Maria, Dark Knight Cecil, Gabrinth, and Ignis are useful. As the boss cleanses debuffs often, aura-type HP damage calls like Leo, Alisai, Kamari, Locke are very good for this fight. The orb requires you to deal fire elemental damage. You can make use of Lulu or Ignis. Lulu base call offers 6 turns fire enchant in form of buff slot. Self-buff extenders can abuse with their buff extending ability. Both Ignis and Lulu LDCA offers 3-turn fire aura enchant. Next, I will be covering units that will be useful to handle the fight mechanics. Like other LUFENIA Plus events, it is always recommended to bring supports for their aura and buffs. They are Garnet, Eiko, Ramza, Leela, Purim, Setzer, Yuna, Kate Sith, Queen, Ishtala, Bartz, Rem, Lyud, and Siren. Garnet, Siren, or Ramza BT Plus support will help with their powerful auras so that you could finish the fight a lot faster. If you don't want to play to the orb, you can bring Eiko for the fight. The boss doesn't have any guaranteed hit attacks, Leela will totally shut down the boss fight mechanics. The fight features some nasty AoE HP attacks. Unless you are doing full evasion strategy involving Leela, damage mitigation will make fight easier to ensure your party are safe from any stray HP attacks. Options include Snow, Core, Gladiolus, Warrior of Light, Beatrix, Orin, Zack, Guy, Bash, and Celis. Counter units like Gladio, Orin, Core, and Beatrix is very useful here for their off-turn damage as well. Now let's focus on the key units that you bring in for the fight. As I have mentioned earlier, in order to uptick the orb, you need to deal fire elemental damage. To enable your party deal fire damage, you can bring a party fire enchanter like Lulu or Ignis. Or you can bring the following fire elemental units: Prishe, Jet, Papa Limo, Vaughn, Vivi, Xanda, Lon and Ren, Alisai, and Steiner. If her LD comes during the upcoming boss rush banner, Rome is another good option for the fight by bring the Ifrit summon so she becomes another fire elemental unit that you can use for the fight. As the boss have a big pool of HP, off-turn damage is bonus here. Other than the counter tank options, you can considering bring trap units like Therion, Maria, the Emperor, Celis, Laguna, Vanille, Ace, and Trey. You can also bring follow-up attack support units like Sisnei, Freya, Noctis. Put a Lulu or Ignis LDCA and you can abuse it with another unit with instant turn like Terra spamming their turns. If the units is enchant with fire, the traps will also do fire damage when the traps are triggered. I have also included a list of other units that you can consider. Shelke can gain a lot of instant turns and free turns with her mechanic. Bring Lulu or Ignis with her and she can deal lots of damage in a jiffy. You can launch the boss to oblivion with Sid Reigns and Selfie. Sid Moshid works here as it will allows you to gain the turns to kill off the sweeper first. With Lulu base call, Titus or any other buff extenders can become fire elemental unit as long as you can keep extending their own buffs. As this is not a debuff heavy fight, Yuna is great for her auras. She can also extend party buffs. You can bring Locke for his defense ignore or break immunity aura. Unfortunately for him, Phoenix Ray isn't fire elemental. On the screen, you will see a timeline showing the HP thresholds triggers that you need to watch out for. The boss gains Lufenia aura at the following thresholds: start of the fight and the 79% HP threshold. The Dragonfly boss will summon a sweeper at the start of the fight and gains a pink aura. To dispel the pink aura, you need either fulfill either one of the following conditions. Kill off the sweeper or let the boss attack. The boss will trigger Carpet Bomb Plus, which will hurt a lot if you don't have mitigation active on your party. The boss will summon sweeper for every 20% HP loss starting from the 79% HP threshold. That is the general theme for the fight. Destroy the sweeper before you attack the boss. Unlike the original event, we can abuse the confusion debuff cheese method to handle the fight. However, this time, the boss is immune to any debuff that include confusion. The sweepers have 2 million HP each and they are immune to launches. With the damage levels that the current C90 units are doing, you should be able to finish the sweeper up without much difficulty. Overall, this isn't a tough fight compared to the recent ones as long as you have the right units. Bring a fire enchanter or bring a fire enchant call. You can bring the Ifrit summon as well. The boss should be gone before your enchant utility are fully exhausted. Now let's proceed with the boss mechanics proper. Like the previous Lufenia Plus fights, the boss will gain big stats boosts, brave damage, and brave gain reduction auras when you deplete their HP to a certain threshold. The thresholds trigger for this fight is at the start of the fight and 49% thresholds. At the start of the fight, it will boost all its defenses by 200%. At 79% HP threshold, it will further boost its defense to 300%. The maximum brave damage reduction auras is 70%. The maximum brave gain reduction auras are 70%. To handle the defense stats boost, you can inflict defense down calls. To handle the brave gain and brave damage reduction auras, you can use brave damage up debuffs like Jack, Sephiroth, or deploy a support with brave damage up like Lena. Rem and Quistis is an example of a few supports that provide brave gain up. Rem works well for the fight thanks to her turn manipulation utility. Now let's focus on the key rotation cycle that you will be facing throughout the fight. At the start of the fight, the boss will summon a sweeper with max brave. It will gain a pink aura with 100% evasion. To dispel the aura, you need to fulfill either one of the following conditions: 1. Destroy the sweeper, or 2. Let the boss uses Carpet Bomb Plus, which is an AoE brave plus HP attack. Carpet Bomb Plus is a dangerous attack if the boss has accumulated a lot of brave before it unleashes the attack with the sweeper following its turn. Upon the sweeper is destroyed, the pink aura will get dispelled and it will get inflicted with 2 debuffs where it lowers its defenses by 50% and you deal 50% more brave damage for 1 turn. Take advantage of this window to abuse the bonuses. The boss resummons the sweeper again at another 4 more instances, the 79%, 59%, 39%, and 19% HP thresholds. Do note that this could trigger while you are in your burst or summon phase. If you pass the threshold with the sweeper still alive, it will summon another one while healing the existing one. You need to kill off both sweepers to remove the evasion or let the main boss gets a turn. If you pass 2 thresholds at one go, there is a possibility that the boss could summon 2 sweepers at one go. Regardless, it is important to finish up the sweeper fast when you trigger the threshold. Make sure you have ample of party turns to handle the mechanic. Do also note that you cannot uptick the orb while the boss is in 100% evasion mode. Now let's look into the fight's other notable mechanics. Let's focus the boss partner in crime. The sweeper has 2 million HP each and is immune to launches. Whenever it is summoned to the battlefield, it will starts off with its max brave of 60k. It can deal a framed 50% attack down debuff with its double machine where it will use support Dragonfly to bring the main boss turn right after it. If it has high brave, it can use smoke shot to do HP attack on a target. It is highly advisable to finish them off fast before you reach the next threshold. With the current C90 awakenings, it shouldn't be too difficult to deal 2 million HP. At the 29% HP threshold, the main boss will emit a red aura and initiates runaway mode. Upon activation, the boss will gain 50% boost to its attack and increases its turn rate. On the right side of the screen, you can see that the boss have an array of gunfire attacks. Always keep its brave low or you could accidentally get killed by a stray missile. We have reached the last slide of the boss guide presentation. Here is a quick recap of the items that you need to take note of. 1. Bring fire enchanters or fire elemental damage dealers for the Lifonia Orb. 2. Lulu base call offers 6 turns fire buff enchant. Her LDCA and Ignis LDCA offers 3 turn fire aura enchant. Lulu's LDCA will overwrite non-fire elemental abilities as well. 3. Turn manipulation, instant turn, turn deletion, or delays are useful to gain more turns so that you can kill off the sweeper. Here is some strategy tips that you can use for the fight. You can abuse Terra's instant turns with a follow-up attack like Sasnii or Freya with fire enchant call. You can enchant Titus with Lulu base enchant and have him extending his own buffs, thus making him a permanent fire damage dealer. You can enchant a trap unit like Ace or off-turn damage unit like Core so that the traps or off-turn damage will help to uptick the boss as it acts. 4. Kill off the sweeper as soon as possible so that you can remove the pink aura that prevent you from damaging the boss. Do remember, when the boss is emitting the pink aura, you cannot uptick the orb unless you use guaranteed hit attacks. With this, we have come to the end of the boss guide. Thank you for watching the video. If you like the video, please do give the video a like. Please do subscribe to my channel for future similar content. Good luck for the fight. Bye.